I was born on the same date as the Republic of Texas. And you do not reach my age without accommodating your fair share of change. I was taught at a very early age, you have to roll with the punches. Now, I see some old faces here from a lot of different sides of a lot of different fights. Some of you I've rode with, some of you I've fought with, and some of you I've bled with. And some of you, maybe back in the bad old days, might have taken a shot at me. Maybe one of your relatives did. But I guess what I'm trying to say here is that those times are over. We're entering the modern age. If anyone picks up a gun now, it's because we're out for quail or deer. I've lived all over the West. In this little patch of South Texas, I've decided to call home. It's good weather.
Yes, sir.
The sweetest water for 500 miles. We got oil. We got gas. We got monster bucks and quail coming out our ears. So, there's a good reason I chose to raise my family here. And I'm honored you all could come down and share it with me. So, here's to coming together.
Yeah.
Here's to the good guys finally winning.
Yeah.
Here's to family and home and the most bountiful place on God's green earth. God bless Texas.
Guys, give it up one more time for Pierce Brosnan.
Star in the making.
Guys, congratulations on the show. It's a pretty unbelievable achievement adapting this novel. I don't think a lot of times novels get adapted into TV shows and movies, but I think rarely like something that could be considered the great American novel is being adapted into a television show. Did that feel like a lot of pressure?
No, not really. I came in at the 11th hour of this show. Sydney and the rest of the cast had been down there for about 2 months working, preparing. And so I came to the dance maybe with about 4 or 5 weeks to spare. And so I didn't really have time to get too freaked out by things. But I loved the book. I read the book when it came out in 2013 and was enamored, and the book was heralded by so many people. So I was, I was kind of over the moon to play the part of Eli McCullough.
Sydney, your character, well, both of your characters really expand an incredible amount of time in the book. So far in the show, I'm about 3 episodes in. We haven't expanded that much time yet, but how much preparation did you do for your work as this character, knowing that the show could end up sort of covering a much later part of her life?
Well, I had to do a few things to prepare for the show, such as I had to learn to horseback ride. I had never been on a horse before this, so learning how to horseback ride was pretty amazing. I also had to learn a Texas accent, which my grandparents kind of have like a similar accent to Texas. So that's pretty easy to learn. And we did some studying up on the history of Texas.
Pierce, we've seen characters similar to yours before in this, the sort of self-starter, the business owner, at this period of time that needs to be somewhat ruthless. Did you do any sort of research into performances from before of characters like this?
No, I read the book. I mean, the book was my Bible, and I kept that close by me. And when I was working on the accent, I would prepare by reading passages from the book. The accent was the challenge for me. I knew how to ride a horse. I knew something about guns. I knew something about being a father, being a grandfather. I knew something about being a survivalist, and he is very much a survivalist, Eli McCullough. So the preparation for me was really the accent, and that was a cross-pollination of Willie Nelson meets Rick Perry meets Waylon Jennings and Senator Ted Poe, believe it or not. And this lovely senator was the man that I kind of hung my hat on. Just the sound of his voice. And then I was in the company of these magnificent actors who were very much accompanied by the time I met them all. And I was welcomed and embraced into the fold. And there wasn't much time for second guessing. But again, to go back to your question, it was there in the book. I didn't go beyond that. And somehow there was, I don't know, there was this kind of wonderful alchemy of when you work on a part and you dream about it and you think about it, and then you actually have to play it. And on the first day, it just, the walk and the voice and the timbre of the voice just kind of happened.
You do an incredible job of presenting consistently this dichotomy working within the character of savagery that comes from sort of frontier violence and creating this possibility for himself, and at the same time modernizing himself to kind of polite society.
Well, that's the joy of playing the character. There is such a duality to the man. There's also a mild kind of schizophrenia, if you want to go into that arena, because he was mangled and tortured and fractured at a very early age by the Comanche, which was not uncommon in the day, that they would, they would take out whole towns or, homesteads, and they would take the young men. And this is the man that I portray. He has this fierce, wild streak within him, and yet he has this geniality and veneer of sophistication. And he is a forward-thinking man. He is the most forward-thinking man within his community, so to speak. He's very aware of what's happening politically, and he also knows that being a cattle baron, the days are somewhat numbered, and he knows there's oil, and he wants to go for that.
Sydney, you're coming off of an incredible run in the Broadway smash Fun Home. Congratulations on that. Let's hear it.
Thank you. Thank you.
What was it like going from something like that into television?
Well, there are quite a bit of similarities and differences between Broadway and TV. One is, on Broadway, you have to make sure that everyone can hear you and everyone can see your movements, so you're a bit more big. And then in TV, everything's more subtle because the camera's like right here, and you don't have to talk as loud. So
on your first day on set, where you're like, "We're horseback riding," and they had to, Sydney, we're okay, we're
the director
okay.
was like, "Oh, great, Sydney, that's awesome. You can dial it down a bit." Like, okay, but over the season, I learned how to become more of a TV actor, and I learned from him just by watching him, just by acting beside him.
Well, Pierce,
I learned from you, too.
Pierce, this is
Be a better actor.
with the exception of a couple miniseries here and there, this is your first time returning to sort of regular episodic television since, Remington Steele, right? The beginning.
Well, thank you. Yes, I mean, Remington gave me this career back in 1981 when I came to the shores of America. I was very lucky to find Remington Steele in my life. And the last 4 or 5 years, I've been actively looking for a TV show because it's so fertile and it's so muscular and robust. The market out there for TV and the audience is just right there with every show. They want to binge watch, whatever you want to call it. But the writing is so good. And what's happening now with movies is just these massive tentpole films, and the other films just, they might be seen. Most go to straight to DVD or whatever it is called today. But I wanted to find something which I could have a continuity with, from 2-3 years.
Especially something like this, television is kind of the perfect medium for this story, for this book. A movie would really never be able to handle the breadth of Philip Meyer's entire vision of the book.
No, I don't think it could, really. It would be a very long movie, but this really lends itself, and Philip actually explored so many avenues. I mean, when the book came out and it was heralded in such a glorious fashion, he had his pick of options of whether to make it into a feature film or whether to make it into a 10-part series like we've done. I think he made the right choice.
Is it maybe I'm wrong? Is it a 10-part limited series, or is this I thought this was a show. Will there be seasons afterwards?
Yeah, I mean, I've signed up for 3 years.
Okay, cool.
So,
so hopefully, yeah.
I'm in, and we shall see. I mean, Eli does outlast a lot of his family, and he is definitely a survivor. But let's just start with show 1 here on Saturday, and slowly does it.
So what was it like working with Philip, coming from his book? This is his first time. Is he show running as well? Is he the head of the show?
Kevin Murphy is the showrunner, but Philip is a big part of the show. He's a meticulous historian. He wants everything to be accurate. He wants everything that happens in the show that he wants to make sure it could have actually happened. So yeah, he's a lot of the times on there on set, and we can ask him questions, and he's great. He's awesome.
I mean, that was the attraction for me, because sometimes these can get diluted, but to sit in the, well, first of all, you know, this job came out of left field, like I said, last summer, and I was immediately attracted to it because there were 5 episodes right there on my doorstep that weekend. And then Philip was going to be front and center with it. And all the players around it. Kevin Murphy, like Sydney said, is a great showrunner. Tom Harper, who directed it, is seasoned with Peaky Blinders and War and Peace. So for me, the ingredients, all the players were just absolutely, you know, had great credentials.
The show takes place in Texas. It's very much about Texas and America. Where did you guys shoot?
Texas.
Where in Texas? A fair amount of Texas is modernized, and some is actually you can.
We shot at various places. Actually, we had like 6 or 7 ranches that we went to.
You were correct to respond to that as if it was a dumb question, though. I will give you that. But so you shot all around Texas?
Well, we shot in Austin mainly. Yeah.
Austin was home. Austin was home for the summer, and boy, was it hot.
It was very, very hot.
It's really hot in Austin in the summer.
It's really hot. Sorry, you got my foot and my back here. Talk this way. But yeah, it was a kick in the pants to do the show, but it was hot.
I wouldn't necessarily call this a cowboy show, even though it does take place on the frontier on the West. Pierce, have you played a cowboy before? Have you been in many Westerns?
I did a movie there, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago. Liam Neeson and myself, we did a movie called Seraphim Falls. Right. That was the first time I was in the Western genre.
Did you enjoy it then? Were you excited to get back into it?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, I grew up in Ireland. I grew up on a staple of Westerns, cowboys and Indians. I grew up in a small village on the River Boyne there in County Meath, and there were just 2 cinemas, and that was the diet, cowboys and Indians, Westerns. I was always the Indian.
Sydney, what about you? I feel like for my generation and younger, which you're a generation below me, Westerns haven't been as much a part of the diet as they were for maybe Pierce's generation. Did you have to do some catching up?
Yeah. I had to study a lot. What they did was they brought this college professor in from... Not sure what college, but he is a history professor, and he taught
Texas. We'll just say
from Texas, and he taught us a lot about the history. But yeah, I definitely had to do some research about Civil War, Spanish American War, Mexican American War, the Bandit Wars, all that stuff.
And what about where obviously we are not going to see, I don't think maybe in the first season, or maybe we will, where your character goes and how she becomes a part of the company as it progresses into an oil company. What sort of, are you excited to sort of get into that part of the character? Will you be able to, or do you think it'll be another actress?
Well, I hope to stay with the Sun for as long as I can. It really is an amazing show, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Will it be in flashbacks? Because already we get your character, we get him as a young boy and him as a man. Are we going to will the show start flashing back and moving forward with the other characters?
No idea.
No idea.
No idea. I don't want to know too much.
I'm fascinated to know how it plays with time and how it shows these sort of early parts of these people's lives and what America was like then affects their lives and what America was like in the future, because that seems to be the timeline of what he's trying to say about with the Sun.
Yeah, honestly, I really have no idea where they wish to go with it, and I'm holding myself in abeyance for those discussions. I think we have to see how the series is received here, in the next month or 2.
What was your guys' favorite part of working together? Your relationship is core and central to the show.
Well, Sydney's just an amazing actress. She has.
Oh, thanks. You too.
She just has such a beautiful way about her, and she's so immediate, and I was so relaxed to be in her company for such a young woman, and she's got such poise and grace and style, and I'm going to keep talking all the way.
And he is charming. He's amazing. Well, yeah.
James Bond. He's the most charming one of the
guys.
most charming men in show business. Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite things about you is you have a lot of stories to tell, and I absolutely love hearing your stories. And you've taught me a lot, how to be just an awesome person, humble and polite, because you're so humble, you're so polite, and I love working with you.
Well, likewise.
Granddaddy.
Likewise.
What kind of stories do you tell on set, Pierce? I'm fascinated by this now. I'm sure you do have.
If he tells them, then they won't be special.
Well, I can't remember, really. It's part of getting older, I guess. You have lots of stories, and then you forget them. But I don't know, yes. I mean, I've been around the track for quite a number of years now, and, I did look around on this set, and I realized I was the oldest person on the set. Not aging myself, but that's just the way life goes. And this character, Eli, met me, I think, at a very good time. And I certainly enjoyed playing the role enormously, and the company of everyone. I mean, they were very much a company when I joined them, and I felt I'd known them a long time after the first week of working with everyone.
How does a television set feel now compared to when you did Remington Steele? How does it look different? Does it feel different at all?
No, it's just the same. You still have the same massive confusion and orderly disconnect, and then moments of greatness and moments of not such greatness. And you have the camera, you have the actors. All the emblems are still the same. It's just that you have a massive audience now, and there's so much competition on the stage because the landscape is so fertile, so exhilarating. Everybody has, people have lovely cinemas now in their home or TVs. You can watch, content on your phone. So we're all kind of jacked into the same system.
You've always been incredible at playing charming on screen, and I think this character, Eli, is charming, but he's also very hardened. And a lot of what he does is he leads people with charm, but he's also got a really violent past behind him. What was it like to sort of mutate your own sort of charm and something that you're very comfortable with and turn it into something a little bit different?
It just gives you a lot of room on the stage to move around and be an unexpected surprise, and to beguile people and to bring them into your confidence, and then to really turn that on a dime and be rather kind of bestial and savage and brutal and kind of, wild Comanche duality to his spirit. I don't know. I mean, it's in the writing. It's there on the page, and you just follow the direction of that and use your own imagination. You keep going back to the book. You reference other stories, other parts of literature, and it just seeps into you, really. You get it for nothing somewhat by being in the company of the actors and on the set.
What have you thought of Jacob Laughlin, the young man who's playing the young version of you?
I think he's magnificent. I mean, he has, like Sydney, they have just this beautiful natural gift. Jacob has not had the same training as Sydney or myself, but he has just this impeccable way of listening and being in his own skin. And we didn't really have much of an interaction between ourselves. We went out a few times and hung out, but we didn't sit down and discuss the roles. And I didn't feel it was necessary. And no one came to me with those instructions, so I kept my own counsel, and so did he.
Again, it's in the writing. There's no reason for
If it's on the page, yes. If as soon as you know when it feels wrong on the page, and it just felt so beautifully rendered by Philip Meyer and his stable of writers. And again, that was the great attraction for me, that this man, this young writer who created this American novel was there at the helm all the way.
Do you ever find that when something is so great on the page and it contains all of the information and everything that the audience needs, that the actor can get in the way by overthinking the process a little bit? Or does it always help to overthink the process as the actor?
Well, it's casting. I mean, if you're cast correctly and properly in the role, then you will fit the role really well. And that, that goes down to the artistic decisions of director, writer, producer, and then how you fill the role of, the desired role. I always get in the way of myself, just because that's just the way I am, and I have to. There's a term in acting: leave yourself alone. Leave yourself alone in the scene. Curtain goes up. Leave yourself alone. Trust that you know the dialogue. Trust that you know you've done the homework, and listen. And I'm the worst at listening. Just like acting by myself. No, not true. Although my drama teacher did tell me that a long time ago. He said you have to listen to other people. You have to connect with them. Stop acting by yourself.
Great monologuist, right? Let's open up to the audience for questions. Who has a microphone and is ready to ask a question? You do.
Good morning. Hi, Pierce. Hi, Sydney. I have to say, Pierce, you have aged gracefully and beautifully. I remember, without dating myself, the Remington Steele days and saying he's gorgeous to my mom, and you still are. And I want to ask you, what's next for you? And to Sydney, having done Broadway and film, which would you say now you prefer more?
Oh, I don't think I prefer one over the other. I feel like right now at the moment, I like TV, and I'm probably going to go back to Broadway to do some stuff, and I'm definitely going to do TV a bunch and movies, and I like both. I like both the same.
Thank you very much for being a Remington Steele fan after all these years. And
Pierce, would you care to opine on your own gorgeousness and how
my
you've
own
aged
gorgeousness.
well?
Oh, my good Lord. Well, long may it last. What can I say? I have a great wife who takes great care of me and our sons, and thank God for her. She keeps me on a good path. What am I going to do next? I'm preparing a movie with Guy Pearce and myself. It's a thriller. And then after that, there's another one with Jesse Eisenberg. And then hopefully take off at the end of the year, back to the sun. Yeah.
Next question, right here.
I don't mean to be so in your face, sorry. Anyway, I'm looking forward to the new show. My question for you, Pierce, is you've had so many great roles. Do you have a favorite role of all your roles?
James Bond, I think, would definitely be high on the list.
James Bond film?
GoldenEye.
Perfect.
He got what he wanted, I guess.
There you go. And good night. Yeah. The Matador, Thomas Crown Affair, Evelyn, Ghost Rider. So, yes, you look around and time has flitted away, and hopefully you have something to show for your days, and those are some of them.
What was the toughest role you ever took? The role that you had the most difficulty with?
All of them. It's all just every time I come to do it, it's like, oh my God, here we go again.
Even by the time you were hitting like the third or fourth James Bond, you still felt like it was challenging?
Oh yes, it was challenging. Yeah, it just is, because you can't take it for granted. Really, you can't just wake up and say this is easy. It's not. It's every day is a challenge. You know, to greater and lesser degrees. But before every job, there's always the anxiety. There's always the doubt of how am I going to do it? Is this going to work? Yeah.
One more question right here.
It's great to have you back on the small screen, longtime Remington Steele fan
Thank
as
you.
well. Question with your career, do you have a particular process for how you pick a role, or is it more of a gut feel as you look at the material?
That's a good question. It depends on the economics of the day. It depends on the mortgage payment. It depends on Just common sense of sometimes you have choices, sometimes you don't. I'm very fortunate that I've always worked, and I've, said to my sons, work begets work, and acting is about doing, and if there's work there, then you must do it, and then you have to have recovery. You can't have action all the time on stage. You have to have recovery. Otherwise, the audience gets really bored by constant action. So somewhat the same for an actor's life. Sometimes, of course, you can have too much recovery and fall off the twig. What I mean by that is getting no work. And there have been times when it's been a bit barren, and I've wondered what to do. And in those times, I've just said, "Get me a job," and I've just done the job. But the material. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that comes in that I just say no to. But it's on the page. It connects to your heart, your imagination.
As an actor who's been doing this for some time now, do you feel it necessary to tell an actress, like a young actress like Sydney, that something like the sun doesn't come around all that often, and it's a rarity that you're going to get like such incredible material?
It is a rarity that you get such material. They don't come around that often. But okay?
Fair enough. Do you feel that way?
Enjoy it while you can.
Do you feel that way, though, as an actor, that it is a rarity that you get stuff like the sun?
I do. I actually remember Sydney Pollock. I was at the Deauville Film Festival years ago with the Thomas Crown Affair, and I was sitting in a restaurant with my wife, and I went, "Wow, this is Sydney Pollock." Anyway, we got up to leave, and Mr. Pollock got up and congratulated me on the Thomas Crown, and he said, "Enjoy it. They don't come around that often." So, you do. I'm a working actor. And you have to really love being a working actor, knowing that you'll have success, you won't have success. They like you, they don't like you, they half like you. But you have to persevere, and you have to be good to yourself, and you have to be true to yourself, and keep that inner life of joy and exploration alive. And that's constant work. So enjoy it while you can.
On that note, people should enjoy The Sun this weekend. It's phenomenal. When can people see the premiere of The Sun this weekend, Sydney?
On AMC at 9?
9 on Sunday, right? Guys, The Sun is on AMC this weekend. Thanks so much for being here, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.